But how exactly did you get into activist work?
Okay, I became involved in organized activism when I moved to my home here in Chicago on the northwest side. We had purchased a home, and we noticed that across the street from where I lived there was some activity going on. There was a lot of traffic going inside of the house, and I told my wife, there's activity going over there, and there's a lot of stuff going on there, more than usual. So we didn't do anything at that point. But one day I found a flyer in my doorway calling for a meeting across the street from where I lived to discuss neighborhood safety, and the flyer was the meeting was being organized by the Northwest Neighborhood Federation, a not-for-profit organization that has professional organizers. I showed the flyer to my wife. I said we ought to go to this because let's see what's happening. So we did that. The meeting was in a week or so in the backyard, and I actually called my cousin Raul Boteo to tell him that this meeting was happening and if he might be interested in coming with us, joining us. He said, okay, sure. So I went, Sofia, Kasi, and Raul, all four of us went. Sofia was just 6 months old or so. So this was probably 1997, the year she was born, around that time. And so we went in the backyard, and the organizer was Jason Kiley, who was affiliated with the Northwest Neighborhood Federation, and he moved on to the National People's Action, which is headquartered here in Chicago, near Halsted and Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
So Jason organized the meeting. He had us introduce ourselves, say a little bit about ourselves, and so from that point, Jason showed us that we had power as a group. Saw the power in organizing. I saw that a small victory like this on a block of addressing a neighborhood safety issue could be solved without using a lot of resources, without outside intervention, except for neighbors getting together as a group, going to the police, getting organized, making phone calls, etc., that it could be done. Jason invited me to the Northwest Neighborhood Federation's meeting to discuss other issues, because other neighbors in this area had issues, similar issues. So Raul and I went to those meetings, and soon we realized that there were other people like us who wanted to do something to improve our neighborhoods. With people who were intelligent. We were not crazy, we were not wild, we were disciplined people, backed with professional organizers to do the strategy, the tactics, how to get to the bureaucracy of getting things done. I soon found out that there were other people like me. Raul got involved. We started organizing around other issues, and then I found out that, wait a minute, there's injustice not only in Chicago but in Illinois. So we National People's Action, Blocks Together in Humboldt Park, Brighton Park Neighborhood Council on Archer Avenue. I learned that there were many groups in Chicago that were fighting injustice, and they had people like myself and Raul who wanted to change things. And the more I got involved in these different campaigns, special education, driver license for undocumented, neighborhood safety, predatory lending, the more I saw that victories could be had, and it would take work. Victories could be had, victories could be gotten, but we had to band together. Through National People's Action, I went to annual conferences in Washington, D.C., where we visited the homes of high-level politicians on Sunday, because National People's Action had wanted a meeting with such people like Phil Gramm, topics Karl Rove, other senators. They refused to meet with National People's Action. So what we did, if our strategy was, if they didn't want to meet with us, we met with them at their home. They would come to the door, they'd look out, they'd see 7 busloads of people surrounding their home. And the first thing they would do is they would call the police, and they would say they feel threatened or whatever. The police would come. We would send our negotiators to the door with the police. The police would open the door, and that's where the negotiations would begin. When the senator or the congressman would come out and say, "Why are you here?" And we would say, "We called you, we faxed you, we emailed you, we sent you letters, you didn't want to meet with us, now we're here to meet. You have no excuse, let's talk." What would normally happen is that the politician would say, "I will only talk to you under one condition. If you remove these 700 people from my front lawn." So the organizer would turn around and say, "People, go back to the buses." In a matter of minutes, everybody was back on the bus. Nobody was on the front lawn. They had moved 700 people in a matter of a few minutes. Now, we had our negotiators talk to whatever official it was. The police said, "Do you really need us? These people, look how organized they are. Look how disciplined they are. Do you really need a senator? These people want to talk. You are their representative. You need to talk to your constituents. Why don't you talk to them?" And of course, the politician, all he could do was begin to negotiate, and that was another step to victory to whatever campaign working.